Celebrate the victories, and everyone give peace a chance. Hey look, it's Captain Joe Sparrow. Arr! We promise to bring you all the good stuff and are waiting for all your thumbs up. Don't bring that in our house. Sportsnight is next.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sports Night. Thanks for joining us. I'm Joe Young.
And I'm Howie Shapiro on a full show tonight.
A full show tonight, and it's the holidays, so still figuring out what's happening moving forward. I don't think we're going to have a show next week.
Did you get your shopping done?
No, it's shopping day tomorrow, the 24th. Shopping day.
Wait till the last minute?
National Shopping Day.
I'm an extra large, by the way.
I'll remember that. But a lot of stuff to get through, and we will start with the hockey team. Boys hockey team, 3 contests since last we sat here. And a couple of teams, other teams that are struggling a little bit, and the Cardinals were hoping they could get some traction here, but they lose to the Orioles. Battle of the Birds goes to Osseo 7-3. Mike Fredrickson, 3 points on the night, goal, 2 assists. Koss and Hess each also added a goal and an assist. Then it was Champlin Park on Saturday. They lose a nail-biter to the Rebels 4-3. Fredrickson, again, a goal, 2 assists. Noah Koss had 3 assists. Travis Hess, a pair of goals. Ty Hansen was in nets for the loss. Cardinals were back on home ice on Tuesday night, hosting the 5-5 Armstrong Cooper Wings. Wings were looking to bounce back after a loss to Spring Lake Park on Saturday, then been training wins and losses in a long stretch of close games. Cardinals, meanwhile, were just hoping to end their skid before their holiday break. Coon Rapids starts the scoring. Cardinals on a 3-on-2 as they hit the line. Koss sends it to Mike Fredrickson. He beats the keeper high on the glove side. Cardinals up 1-0. But the Wings answer with just over a minute left in the first period. Eddie Kirchhoff with speed through the neutral zone, gets an angle, beats Nash's glove, and it's all tied up after 1. That put the wind beneath the Wings into the second. Andy Burns takes it behind the net, sends it out front. Deflection by Nick Holscher, and Armstrong Cooper takes the 2-1 lead. That lasted just over 30 seconds. Travis Hess springs Noah Koss. He gets around the corner, makes it look easy. We're tied again. Cardinal power play midway through the period, over the top to Koss for the one-timer. His second of the game puts Coon Rapids back in front 3-2. The lead holds into the third period. Another Cardinal power play, but a turnover just inside the blue line gives the Wings a shorthanded 3-on-1. Kyle Sweeney beats Nash with a quick wrister. Short side. It's a tie one more time. Under 5 minutes remaining, Wings on the attack. Sweeney drops for Woletsky. His shot is blocked. Puck bounces around up front. Sweeney able to sweep it past a sprawling Nash, and that's a game winner. Wings win a close one, 4-3, the final. Another
close loss for Coon Rapids, a couple of 4-3 losses, and I'm sure it's frustrating. They want to start getting some W's in that column, but at least at this point, it's a close game every time. The last couple of times they played, anyway, they'll get over the hump hopefully.
Well, and getting a little more production on the offensive end.
Fredrickson's been hot
big.
As well.
Absolutely, and really they're getting most of that production from that top line. They need to see more contributions from the second, third lines
for sure,
especially when they get back into conference action. As for their holiday break, they are off until Monday when they travel to Eveleth for a tournament. They'll face Kitson Central on Monday, Mankato East on Tuesday, and then the host Eveleth Gilbert team on Wednesday. Girls hockey team had a bunch of action since last week's show, starting with a win over North Metro. And this is the way to really break out of the blahs, is when you face the Stars, pile up 9 goals. Brina Del Castillo, the leader with 2 goals, 2 assists. Lily Hackett also had 4 points. Taylor Turnquist had the hat trick. Jordan Keller also with 3 points in the game. Blomquist and Corrigan each with a goal and an assist. They followed that with a 4-1 win over the Egan Wildcats, and Egan, a pretty good program from down south. Lily Hackett with 3 points in this one, a goal and a pair of helpers. Turnquist 2 goals. Brina with 2 goals. 2 assists. Liz Zarate added the other goal for the Cardinals. They matched that score on Saturday when they beat Armstrong Cooper. The Wings no match for the SLP CR squad. Turnquist again 2 goals. Liz Zarate with 2 goals. Assists to Schultz, Crawford, and Emma Murphy. And they, too, have some time off. And then they host the Cardinal Cup starting on Monday. They host Rogers Royals in the first-round action live on CTN at 7:30.
Guess what?
We'll be there.
We will be there.
All right.
Yeah, they've been hot. The girls have been hot right
Yeah.
now. Nine wins on the season so far. They're coming into this break at a good time. A good time to play in their Cardinal Cup.
Well, you know, we talked about it. They got into those rankings up to number 16,
Yep.
but then they saw that part of their schedule, which was all ranked teams for 3 or 4 games, and then they weren't able to quite get out of it against Mounds View, but then finally against North Metro, they got it going. A couple of big wins over Egan and also conference opponent Champlain Park.
Putting the puck in the net 9 times cures a lot of things.
Yeah, it definitely helps get things on track.
Absolutely. Well, the wrestling team, they'll get some rest and recuperation this week before heading to Fargo for the Rumble on the Red. It was a very busy finish to the last week. On Thursday, they traveled to Centennial to face a Cougar team that was staying in the race for the conference title. The Cardinals have had their number in recent past, but this is a team struggling with depth and injuries. Cougars going to open with a pin at 106, but the Cardinals answer with freshman Gabe DeGrease at 113. And a fireman's carry for the takedown on Centennial Zach Mulberry. DeGrease on his way to a dominant 16-1 Tech fall. See there, gets the win. Coon Rapids had a brief lead after a Centennial forfeit at 120, but then the Cougars displayed their dominance in the middle weights. They had 3 straight pins, followed by a pair of major decisions. Josh Bryant coming up is going to finally stop the bleeding at 160. He was close to the pin in the second period, but couldn't finish it off. Still battles his way to a 5-1 decision. Nice job there. Coon Rapids wouldn't score another victory until 2:20, early second period. Nick Halseth able to ride his man to the mat, get him turned over, and it's all over after that. Halseth goes to the headlock to get the pin at 2:27. Nice match for Nick. Then Tim Mandyke is going to end the heavyweight match quickly. He uses the arm of Sam Bird to turn him right in the middle of the mat. Mandyke's pin comes just 95 seconds, but the Cardinals win this one the Cougars win this one handily. 47-26 was the final, and it was those middleweights. They thought they would be able to avoid some of those pins, and unfortunately they could not.
Yeah, just a lot of strength through the lower middle weights for the Centennial Cougars, and the Cardinals a little bit nicked up,
right?
Missing some guys from the lineup, so not as strong a lineup as they were hoping to have this time of year, and definitely a team that graduated so many wins.
167 of them.
Yeah, I mean, more than 100 more wins than any other team lost in the conference. So they are, and that's not, and they're not making excuses, but they are a younger team.
They are
lost a lot of skilled guys, and then to be nicked up the way they are, tough. And the wrestling season is so grueling. It's such a demanding sport, so physical, and they keep moving.
Big win for Centennial. They hadn't beat the Cardinals since 2003.
Yeah.
So that was a big victory for them.
Yeah. Well, they travel to Fargo, as we said, on. They traveled on down to Rochester on Friday for the wrestling tournament, Minnesota Christmas tournament. They finished 30th place in that event. Tim Mandyke at heavyweight, the only one making it into the final matches, finishes in 6th place with a 3-3 record. Only winning record was Josh Bryant. Unfortunately, lost or was injured in the wrestlebacks after one of those victories, and that's another concern. That was another one of your leaders, one of those guys that comes in that you do have that experience in, and now he's nicked up as well.
Yeah, and that we'll see. Hopefully, it's not too serious, and he'll get back at it. But again, not a good time for injuries, especially with the big events coming up.
No, so they are at the Rumble on the Red next Tuesday and Wednesday, and then they get back to conference action against Elk River at home on Saturday, January the 8th, which Elk River, another one of those teams that's always been just outside, for the last almost decade, or maybe even decade or more, you've been looking at Anoka and Coon Rapids as the perennial powers in the Northwest Suburban.
Correct.
Elk River and Centennial were those two teams right beneath them trying to push. Elk River beat Coon Rapids a couple years ago. Last year, Coon Rapids had their chance, but Elk River is going to be a contender when they get back to conference action. Swimming and diving team, they started their season a couple weeks ago with a win over Park Center, beating the Pirates 88-85. Alex Schmidt, first place finishes in both the 200 free and the 100 back. Trong won the 100 breast, and the 200 free relay team also took first place. Coach Doug Donaldson praised the team for its depth, said that's a true depth win when you only get 4 first-place victories, or 4 first-place finishes and still get the team victory. But some tougher teams on the docket for the Cardinals. Anoka expected to be in the mix for the conference title at the end. Tornadoes blow past the Cardinals 106-71. Schmidt, a first-place finish in the 200 IM, second in the 100 free. 200 medley relay team finished second place, and now Aaron Rosso was third place off the board. On Thursday, Cardinals take on Armstrong, another perennial power. Just too many weapons for the Cardinals to be competitive as a team. But again, good time improvement from match to match already, according to Coach Donaldson. Trong gets first place in the 200 IM and 223.84. Rosso was first place off the board. Schmidt a second place finish in the 500 free. And already you can see in these early matches, a lot of guys, a lot of those top stronger swimmers for the Cardinals changing their events every meet, competing in a different event, which is going to give the Cardinals more options as they get deeper through the season. On Saturday, the Cardinals at the Bengals Invitational, they finished 10th place. Schmidt is the top finisher with a 4th place in the 200 free. He also finished 7th in the 500 free. Trong was 11th place in the 100 breast. Medley relay team finished 13th. Trong also finished 16th in the 200 IM. And Pierre Nahar finished 19th in the 50 free with a time of 25.86.
So, some good times in that event, and as we always talk about, they're certainly not the top team in the conference, but if you can increase or decrease your times each and every event, then you have the opportunity to succeed, and that's what they seem to be doing.
Yeah, and Coach Donaldson said in the email, it doesn't show, especially those Bengals, but those guys worked really hard for that tournament. He was really proud of them. Said guys were dropping as much as 6 seconds off of previous PRs in their events. Cardinals have some time off. They are at the University of Minnesota for an invitational on Saturday the 2nd, and then they return to conference action, hosting Maple Grove on Tuesday the 5th. Gymnastics team did not have anything last week, so upcoming they have off until they are at Centennial on Monday the 4th, same day they return to school, and then that Saturday they're at the Princeton Invitational.
Okay.
We're going to bounce right along into our next activity.
Just don't dribble it down.
Happens to be boys basketball. A lot of action for them as well. When we take more than 7 days between shows, the results pile up. Cardinals lost to the Panthers on Tuesday the 15th, 71-51. Dial Lowell with 16 points and 8 boards. Marcus Rask also into double digits with 10 and 5. Sam Carver just off that pace with 9 points, 3 boards. Pratt looked pretty good in all aspects as well. And Wyan Samawam.
There you go.
I had it last night, and I think Wyan Sam. Yeah, you got it. Yeah. Cardinals on Thursday lost to Champlain Park, a highly ranked team in the state, top 10, 84-46 the final. Tyrion Johnson was the leader with 11 points. Nick Keller 10 points and 6 boards. Domovic also had 10 points and a couple of boards. Carver 7, and Lowell held to just 5 points on the night.
And they played better than that number figured against Champlain Park. We talked about last night. They were able to cut the lead. It would start the second half to 7 points. They just don't have the depth that a team like Champlain Park, who's rated number 8 in the state, has.
Right, yeah. Right. Well, the Cardinals back at the Fieldhouse on Tuesday of this week for a non-conference matchup with section rival St. Francis. Saints had won back-to-back for the games for the first time this season to even their record at 4-4. So they were coming in with confidence and momentum. Cardinals would have their hands full trying to handle all of their different weapons. St. Francis comes out showing off the shooting skills. Tanner Carlson drains a 3 from the top of the key. That helped the Saints to a 7-2 lead early on. Cardinals would keep it interesting early off the Saints miss. Sam Carver, the rebound, a quick outlet. Domovic runs the floor, finishes at the rim. We're back to a 1-point game. Once the Saints offense started clicking, home team couldn't keep pace. Carlson open lane, scoops it up and in. Saints able to attack from all areas. Robbie Whitney with an open look to hit the 3, part of a game-high 13-point night for him. St. Francis up 10 at the half. They weren't satisfied. They start the second with a 14-2 run. Steven Anderson left alone, splashes another from the outside. Cardinals did have 3 players in double digits. Sam Carver gets 2 of his 10 on that play. Jake Demovic had 11. Nick Keller finished with 12. This one got out of hand in the second half. Saints run away with it. 70-44 was the final.
Yeah, they did a nice job of just increasing that lead to start the second half and didn't look back. And they're impressive in the fact they had a lot of number of players that scored from the floor. Cardinals turned the ball over a little bit too many times, didn't hit their free throws when they needed to, and the game got out of hand.
Well, and they were impressive because they had a number of different guys who would fire the three. They were shooting a lot of threes early, and that allowed Coon Rapids to stay in it, I think, as long as they did. Once they started getting some more of those 3 shots to fall, it made the defense spread out, and they got some points underneath as well. I was pretty impressed with the way that St. Francis team worked outside in. Cardinals at North Branch a week from Saturday. They are at Anoka on Tuesday, the 5th.
Well, let's talk a little girls basketball.
Girls basketball.
The Cardinals started last week's action trying to shake off back-to-back losses and looking at a Spring Lake Park as a great team to bounce back against. The Panthers had just 1 win in 4 games and had been throttled by Totino Grace in their previous contest. They were beatable, but Coon Rapids would need to bring their A game all night long. Cardinals in a hole early, but starting to get their offense clicking in transition. Marina Nyberg on the run takes it for the finish. Start of a big night for her. Game midway through the first half, the Panthers find Jenna Murphy open on the wing, and she unties it with a 3, 19-16 Spring Lake Park. Coon Rapids on the attack. Brianna Clark takes to the hole. It won't go, but Carver able to get the rebound. Out to Nyberg, beyond the arc. She sends it through the cylinder, and the game is tied again. This is a shootout in the first. Murphy had 14 of her game-high 30 before the break, but Coon Rapids had a 34-30 lead going into the locker room. Panthers started the second with a spurt to get in front by 9. Kaylee Porsche will help cut into that lead, scoring on the run. She finished with 18 for the Cardinals. Panthers up by 3 as we get to the final minutes. Amara Reed gets Porsche in the air, gets the bucket and the foul, able to double her team's lead. They steal it with a strong free throw shooting, holding on for that 70-64 win.
Yeah, that was a game that in the first half was free-flowing, good tempo. We were up into the low 30s for a score. In the second half was nothing but fouls. Neither team could get a rhythm. And the Panthers really, what the difference in that game was their free throw shooting. They won that from the line.
Absolutely.
Well, the girls team facing a Champlin Park team, maybe not as strong as its boys program, but it's pretty solid program in the Northwest Suburban, and they get shut down against the Rebels 64-36 the final in that one. Kaylee Porish, a nice night with 19 points. The loss in the game is one thing. Also lost Marina Nyberg in this one, and that is a tough loss for this squad. Then on Saturday, they travel to Cambridge Isani, and they come up short in overtime against the Blue Jackets, 52-46. Kaylee Porish had 11. Ella Carver added 9. Caitlin Ackerman, 7 points. Frazier and Jenkins each had 6 for the Cardinals. On Monday, the Cardinals hosting Forest Lake. One more game before a little holiday break, and it'll make it an even happier holiday. Cardinals knew that the Rangers would be vulnerable. They're a very young team struggling early in the year. However, without Nyberg, it would be a question about how the rest of the girls on the floor would be able to respond. Rangers show full court pressure early, and it pays off. Abby Asperheim gets the steal and the bucket to give Forest Lake the very early 4-0 lead. When one leader goes down, you need the others to step up, and KP was on point. Porish hits the 15-footer here to tie the game, and she was just getting started. Coon Rapids in the half-court rotation, goes to Porish all alone in the corner. She'll knock down the 3-2, put her team in front for the first time. Rangers can play long ball too, though. They had 4 3-pointers in the first half, 3 of them from Lexi Holtman, who put up 20 points on Monday night. Coon Rapids up 1 at the half. Porish continuing to carry the load for the Cardinals in the second. Finds room, takes it to the paint, nice slither. Pushes the lead to 6. She really did it all for her squad against Forest Lake. Holtman wanted baseline. Nuh-uh. Not happening. Not quite done with her highlights. In transition, Cardinals nearly turned it over. Instead, they get it to Porish. How about another 3-pointer? Porsche had 27 points to carry the Cardinals to a 59-53 win.
Yeah, she did.
It was a fun game to watch.
It was a lot of fun.
It went back and forth.
It did.
And Kaylee Porsche, very impressive. I mean, she was all over the place.
From the outside, underneath, did a couple of nice spin moves to create some space for herself and get the bucket. And she got the interview after the game.
I was going to say,
and
stellar
so how
interview.
cool was that?
A stellar interview
yes,
to
absolutely.
finish it off. Cardinals hoping they can use that and build on it. Going to Fergus Falls for their holiday tournament. Yep. They will take on Watertown Mayor on Tuesday of next week, and then Fergus Falls on Wednesday. They return to conference action also on the following Tuesday, the 5th of January, hosting Anoka.
That'll be some exciting stuff. Well,
little bit of extra stuff to talk about.
I was just going to say a little extra to report on. The Coon Rapids football team has a new head coach when it comes to the program with a great resume and experience resurrecting struggling teams. Greg Malling is originally from North Dakota and took the job as a way to get closer to family. Malling was announced as head coach last week, and Saturday was introduced to the community. A group of players, parents, supporters, and school staff gathered at the school to meet Malling for the first time. For the past 5 seasons, he's been the coach of Arrowhead High School in Wisconsin, where he guided the Warhawks to back-to-back state championships and 4 straight appearances in the title game. Malling also spent time coaching in Florida and Maryland, where he helped Wooten High School return to the playoffs after missing out for more than 2 decades. He spoke for about a half an hour, talking about his philosophies and visions for the program.
Winning comes when you stop worrying about winning, right? Winning comes when you start worrying about doing every little thing right, and when you start to focus on that first step, right? That's it. When we're scoreboard watchers, it doesn't work very well. And I think that's a big piece for us. Fortune favors the bold, and the people that are good, the teams that are good, the organizations that are good, are bold, and it takes a willingness to take some risks, right? To put yourself out there.
Coach Malling is going to replace John Young, who resigned in the fall after his 9th season as the Cardinals coach. And, we didn't get a chance to meet him yet, and I haven't had a chance to watch the interview. But, a lot of good things in reading what I have about him, and it'll be an interesting transition for next fall.
Well, and understandable. I mean, he was only at Arrowhead for 5 years, and they were already a very strong program when he came in. The program he was with out in Maryland had been struggling for a long time. He helped turn it around. Yep. Also, he was down in Florida for some time. He's moved around, but happy to have him and look forward to seeing what he's able to do. I did watch most of the interview or his speech, and pretty impressed with his what I've seen so far, and look forward to working with him moving forward.
Yeah, as well. It should be a lot of fun, and we're hoping to get to know him, and certainly we developed a great relationship with John Young over the years, and he definitely he'll be missed for sure.
Absolutely. But that is going to wrap up this edition of Sports Night. Here's what we have coming up for you here on CTN. We've got girls hockey on Monday and Wednesday next week. Our coverage of the Cardinal Cup starts with Spring Lake Park, Coon Rapids, hosting the Rogers Royals on Monday night at 7:30. Then girls basketball on the 5th of January when the Cardinals host the Anoka Tornadoes. That's going to do it for this edition of CTN Sports Night. I want to thank everybody out there for joining us, continuing to support everything we do here at CTN. For the entire crew, including the one and only Howie Shapiro, I'm Joe Young, saying goodnight.